Hey guys, this is Ron from Atlas Survival Shelters. Today we're going to talk about the importance of starting your own cache room and supply source in case of disaster hits today. Okay, so anyway, we are in my cache room, and literally every day until I am done, I buy survival supplies. I'm one of these people that I would rather have too many supplies than not enough. So every single day, I seem to open up something that comes in for my survival collection. Eventually, I will fulfill my collection and I won't need anything else. But the time to prepare is now, not when danger's on the horizon, not when North Korea starts acting up again. So what came in today, these are compressed towels out of 100% cotton, and I'm going to put these over here on my shelf with my little area of compressed towels. But literally almost every single day, I come in and I have 1, 2, 3, or 4 boxes of survival supplies that I am putting together for my cache room or for my bunker that's already underground. Now, I realize not everybody can get a bunker underground, and I don't even know what this is right here, but I'm going to open it for you guys and find out. But I realize not everybody can have a bunker, not everybody can afford a bunker, but Atlas Survival Shelters makes a bunker for everybody. The only requirements for you to have a bunker is that you have some land. The bunkers, when I first started making these things, they averaged over $100,000 installed. Now the average bunker is about $35,000 installed. So it's about the price of an imported car, but there's not any reason why you can't have a shelter, and especially with the shelters that we now build into the concrete slab of the house, why you can't build your next house with a shelter inclusive with the foundation of the house, just like having a basement. So you guys up north, you're already building houses with basements. So we have shelters that will attach to the basement wall. So when you go down into your basement, you have a secondary door like walking into a gun vault, and you go down into a bunker there. But there's really no reason for you not to be able to have a bunker and then be able to convert it into a useful part of the house, like a gun room, a wine cellar. Man, that is a small slingshot. I ordered this thing yesterday. Wow, sorry to break the rhythm there, but that is one tiny little slingshot. Being the ultimate prepper as I am, I can't have too many water purification systems, too many stoves, too many guns, too much ammo, too much water, too much food, too much of anything, because I always look at it this way. No one's going to be prepared as me around me, and I have a large family, and I know they're not doing nothing. So when I am hoarding, I am literally hoarding for my entire family, okay? Because I know if shit ever hits the fan, they're not going to have nothing. So at least one person in the family has the mentality, and I'm going to give you guys a fact that I bet most of you did not know this. But statistically, and this is a fact because I Googled it, I found it, and I read it and studied it, there's 65 million preppers in America. But the point is, there's more women preppers than there are men. So I actually sell more bunkers to women than I do to men. I bet you guys would never thought of that. But women are very protective of their family. They have that Papa Bear effect, or actually that Mama Bear effect, where they want to protect their family. So I would have never guessed that when I got into this industry that women would be my number one customer, but they are. But moving forward, my main customer is new home builders, okay? Because I am getting people into the mindset of being proactive on putting the shelters in before they even build a house. Why wait till a disaster hits to start looking for a shelter? I mean, it seems like every time a tornado hits Oklahoma, people run out and buy tornado shelters. Well, the time to buy the tornado shelter is not after the tornado just almost killed you, okay? The time to do it is before. Having a tornado shelter is about as fun as having a pet rock. I mean, there's nothing to it. It sits in the backyard. It sits there. Half of them float up. The other half fill up with water. They're an eyesore. They don't do anything for you. But having the type of shelters that we make at Atlas Survival Shelters, that's a different story. My shelters are the bomb. Pardon the pun there, but they are. We create environments for you. We create the most awesome gun room, the most awesome party room, the most awesome wine cellar that you've ever seen. Just like this office. The idea is when you're in the shelter, you don't feel like you're in a shelter. You feel like you're in a badass room, and you really do. This office that I'm in right now is 10 feet by 20 feet. And it's a pretty big room. And I'm only using probably 9 feet. I would say my cache area here is 9 feet by 10 feet. So about 90 square feet is what my cache area is. You don't have to use the entire shelter for storage, but having a shelter as an integral part of your house and that man cave or that hobby room or just a part of the house, and then knowing that that shelter at the snap of a finger can turn into a safe room from either wildfires, nuclear fallout, tornadoes, hurricanes, whatever. The only thing a shelter will not protect you from is pretty much a flood. If a flood comes, do not go in your shelter, okay? That's the last place you want to be, is down in a shelter, because they are not submarines. And if I did make them like a submarine and you went down there and the area flooded for a week and your air pipes weren't high enough, you would just suffocate, okay? Unless you had oxygen bottles and you had CO2 scrubbers and you were totally prepared. It is possible to have a shelter be submerged underwater for a week or two if you got all the money in the world. Anything is possible. They dug a tunnel all the way from London to Paris under that ocean that separates Europe from or France from England. So anything is possible with enough money. Okay, keep that in mind. And when people comment, well, you should have done this and you should have done that. Well, look, guys, you don't know the budget that I'm dealing with half the time. A lot of people only have a small budget and they really can't afford an escape tunnel, or they can't afford to have a this or a that, because I read the comments and, keep in mind, these people are getting what they can afford. Now, when I get the clients that have unlimited bank accounts, we do some incredible bunkers and they have all those bells and whistles. So I appreciate your suggestions, but trust me, I already have these thoughts, and I wish everybody could spend $1 million on a bunker. But unfortunately, they can. Most of the people are average Americans like you, and their budget's somewhere between $35,000 to $50,000 for their dream bunker, and it's really tough to do the dream bunker in that budget. Realistically, to put a dream bunker in, or to start your dream off, you need somewhere between $50,000 and $100,000, and you could do a pretty good-sized bunker that would have couches and kitchens and bathrooms and showers and the escape tunnel and all that stuff. But that's just getting the bunker. Once you get the bunker, oh boy, then it really starts. Then you're going to start buying food and water bottles and this and that and all these different things. You think just getting the bunker is the beginning? No. It's like buying a sailboat. My friend bought a 40-foot sailboat, and he always said, and it's true, the best day was the day he bought it and the day he's going to sell it. He hasn't sold it yet. But he buys this sailboat, and it cost him like $500,000. But now he's paying $1,200 a month to park it at the marina. He has to go down there at least twice a week to make sure that it's moored up properly. He has to clean it from the salt. He has to check it from the humidity inside so he doesn't get mold. He has to buy this, he has to buy lifeboats, he has to buy all this survival gear. He's like, good God. He goes, I didn't really figure everything it was going to cost me after I got the sailboat. And I'm like, well, yeah, it's kind of like a bunker. Once you get the bunker, it really doesn't stop, because you always are hoarding But the difference between a sailboat and a shelter is you don't have to pay that monthly rent. Once you buy the bunker, you're done. And if you put it in properly, it should last you your entire life, and you should be able to pass it on to the next generation. The only killer to most bunkers is a high water table. There's not much that can hurt a bunker except a high water table. If you put in a shelter that's not watertight, you could get leakage, or you could get some condensation or sweat, but there's always an answer to it. You can always put concrete on the outside. You can do a watertight shelter. So you got to keep in mind, at Atlas Survival Shelters, we make like 20 different types of bunkers. We make round, we make square, we make corrugated, we make watertight, we make monolithic domes, we do silos, we do poured in place concrete. We do every type of bunker that you can imagine in the world, and we do them all over the world. You would think America would be the best market, but it's actually not the best market. There's foreign markets that far surpass the American market. Did you guys know that, well, I studied in two countries, okay? I studied in Israel and I studied in Switzerland. These two countries, it is mandatory that when you build a house that you have a fallout shelter or a room or a safe room, and they have an NBC air filtration system inside. When you go to Switzerland, it's the same thing, but they've kind of relaxed it lately because there's not so much a scare of a Cold War. But when I went to Switzerland, I visited all these common area bunkers. They have military bunkers and caches of guns everywhere in Switzerland. The number one sport in Switzerland, believe it or not, is shooting. Everybody shoots. It's almost like, I think it's mandatory, once a month, all men of military age must go out and practice shooting. So they have rifle ranges literally everywhere. I mean, there's a lot more bunkers and a lot more ranges than there are McDonald's in Switzerland. So I got to go down inside some of these bunkers. And the thing that amazed me with the bunkers in Switzerland was the fact that they only had like 2 weeks of provisions in them. That really shocked me, that there was only 2 weeks of provisions in military-grade bunkers in Switzerland. And I asked the guy, why? Why is there only 2 weeks of water and food here? He goes, well, because they figure it's like a stopover. They move from bunker, they fight, they move to another bunker, they fight, they move to another bunker and fight. And I was amazed by that. And Israel, I never got to go into any military bunkers because everyone has their own safe room. And matter of fact, I didn't even see any military bunkers in Israel, but I'm sure there's some for the military. But it's not like in Switzerland where the people are a militia in Switzerland. So there's bunkers they can go to, they can grab their guns, go to the bunker, they come out, they fight, they go back down, they come out, fight, they go back down. So it was a different mindset there. But the point is, those people are prepared, and because they're prepared, they don't lose sleep at night. It's their insurance plan to preserve themselves as a country. So to preserve your mentality and give you peace of mind, just like you have health insurance for your body, you have fire insurance and flood insurance for your house, you have automobile insurance for your car if you're wrecked. So, if your husband calls and says, hey, I was in a wreck, are you okay, honey? Yeah, sure. How's the car? Oh, it's totaled. Well, you really don't worry about it because you have insurance. You're going to get a new car. That same peace of mind is the same peace of mind that having a shelter gives to your family. It's calming. It almost makes you feel like you have on a Superman big letter S and a cape on, because you feel that my family is safer than your family because we have a place to go. And our biggest fear is your family trying to take what my family has. So for this reason, people do not want people to know that they have a bunker. Understandably so. Just look at the episode of The Twilight Zone called The Shelter, where the guy builds the bunker and all his neighbors are making fun of him, and then it comes on the TV that missiles are inbound from Russia, and we got like 2.5 hours, so all the neighbors over there kicking in his door trying to break into his bunker. And that's really what it's like. Now, when they had that scare in Hawaii, like a year ago, that the North Koreans had missiles coming in, people were having heart attacks. They were breaking down. They were crying. They were bawling. They were praying. And I could only imagine what happened to the few people that had public bunkers. I imagine it was quite chaotic. And apparently there wasn't enough bunkers, because I didn't see any YouTube footage come out of Hawaii showing people trying to break in other people's bunkers. But you can only imagine. So until bunkers become as commonplace, or more commonplace in the United States like they are in Australia, not Australia, but like they are in Israel and Switzerland and Finland and Singapore, and countries that have made it mandatory that people must have these shelters. Even Japan is getting on the ball finally. Now they're building their houses and they're putting their bunkers in the houses, because I kind of got them to do that. They took my concept and now they're building houses in Japan with my shelters built into the floor of them. So they're finally getting with it. Now North Korea's backed off, but we know how long that's going to last. Until Kim Jong-un is dead, or another government's taken over, or South Korea takes over that country, North Korea is always going to be a threat to Japan. So this entire video today is about me trying to get you people to get into the habit of creating a cache for a few reasons. One, it can't hurt. Number two, it gives you a sense of calmness and preparedness. Three, it's fun. It's actually fun. And four, it's smart. There's absolutely nothing wrong with having supplies built up just in case the SHTF, the shit ever hits the fan, whether it be a tornado, a hurricane, a wildfire, or an eruption from a volcano. So I hope this video today given some of you to start your cache, your prepper cache today, because I'm going to start covering every single item in my cache. I want to get the land that I'm buying where I'm going to build my prepper community, 167 miles from my office here in California. And this is another statistic. If I was to take 1,000 people who bought shelters, 998 of them would have been conservatives, and maybe 2 out of 1,000 might have been a liberal. For some reason, liberals they're not preppers, that they believe that the government is going to come to their defense when the time is right. And the government's going to take care of them. And they're absolutely wrong for the first 7 days. And as long as it's just a local disaster. If it was a nationwide disaster, you're on your own. There is not enough police, firemen, and military to handle a disaster on a national scale. So as long as it is a local disaster, being an earthquake, a tornado, or a hurricane, yes, FEMA will be there in probably 72 hours. But you have to survive those first 3 or 4 days all on your own without any outside help. Because first of all, trucks can't get in there, power lines are down, power poles are everywhere. They're dealing with the wounded first, so you have to survive on your own. And God forbid our children live through an apocalyptic situation. Now, some of you may say that ain't never going to happen, but it's going to happen. And keep in mind, it's already happening right now in parts of the world. People in Syria are living the apocalypse right now. That's why they're all leaving. So anyway, guys, get off your ass, start your cache room today, and I'll be your fan, and you can share your cache room and your progress with me. We will be friends, you and me, okay? If you don't have to show anybody else, you can share it with me. I don't care where your cache room is. I will never tell anybody. Matter of fact, I don't even know where my bunkers are at. I don't keep the names of my customers. I don't keep their last names. I don't keep anything on them. When they send me the money by wire transfer, I don't even know where it came from. I ship it out. I don't care where it goes. And there's no regulations and no laws. Therefore, I do not have the information on where my bunkers went. and I never will. And unless the government changes the laws, and then at that point I'll probably get out of the damn business, because having a shelter is a person's personal right to protect their family, and the government has nothing to do with it. Unless the government wants to start providing us protection, then we won't need our own personal protection. So again, guys, I thank you for watching this video. I appreciate you watching my channel, and we're going to get into detail on every single item here. But guys, take my advice. Start your own cache room today. Starting with survival food, water bottles, whatever you personally need. So if you're going to have to decide whether you're going to bug in or bug out. If you're going to bug in, that means you're going to stay in your house. You're going to ride out the storm there. If you're going to bug out, know where you're going to bug out now. Don't wait till a disaster happens and then figure, which way do I go? You got to know where you're going to go. You have to have a designated site, and all you have to do is get from point A to point B. And if it's a long distance, put a cache shelter in the middle with food, water, supplies. So you get to that cache, then get to your site. But listen, guys, it's better to be prepared than scared. I love you. I'll see you on the next video. Have a good day.